Hey there, and welcome back to Second Lunch Podcast. It's me, Chris Moran, your host, with your other host, Kolpy. I was thinking, Cole, we said last time we've got probably 3 listeners, 2 of which are health professionals. Your therapist, my doctor, and I don't know about you, but I think my doctor definitely would have seen how much I lied on the alcohol intake form just from watching the episodes. I already overshot.
That was all of the drinking Chris was doing for the week.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, those 16 or whatever it was. I think I say like 8 a week or something. I don't know. Anyhow, I'm in a good mood today. I had a Euro for dinner. What did you have for dinner?
Oh, I mean, I scarfed some Indian food so that I wouldn't get too drunk.
Great. This is a good transition into our Tinderella questions, getting to know each other a little bit. If you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I would do this. I wanted to do the Stand By Me cherry flavored Pez response, but See, I don't know if I have like a funny response for this. My brain immediately just drifted into burritos.
Oh, was this supposed to be funny? I was being serious.
Oh, okay. You asked how many episodes we'd get through before one of us cried. I think we might be working towards it. Yeah. But yeah, that's probably my choice. What are you going with?
Euro. Euro. I was thinking, that's what made me think of this question. I was eating
I was
going
to say, this isn't in my notes.
I was eating that Euro. I was like, fuck. I want to put my dick in it. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about every Euro I've ever... just love Euros, so... All right. You want to get...
I do. I'm gonna start with the... Actually, I'm going to go with the second one here. What was your first impression of me?
My first impression of you changed a couple times.
See, that's not a first
impression. No, my first impression... No, because hold on. First, I thought, another big guy. You were a little bit heavier then. We were about the same heft. You and I keep trading off. Who's skinnier, by the way. It's fucked up.
I'm on the upswing.
At that point, we were right about the same. I was like, all right, he's probably jolly, which that fucking word, by the way, that pisses me. They only say jolly about fat people, ever.
Oh, yeah.
There's never been a skinny person that's been jolly. It's always...
Yeah, you might as well call me homely.
Yeah.
I know what these words mean. I don't need your euphemisms.
So anyway, I thought you were jolly, and...
You missed that one.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, where it changed a little bit. Then you spoke, and I was like, oh, he's a little grumpy. He seems like kind of a dick. And then you rescued me from a roof later, and that's when I fell in love with you.
Packers fan. See, that's my first impression of you was, holy shit, there's another one in Wenatchee.
Another one what? Packers fan?
Is that... absolutely. Yeah, well,
or were you thinking jolly, too?
And you've got your Christmas Bucks gear on, too. It's
fucking
flawless.
Right. Bucks and six. What's the next question you got in front of you?
Yeah, I got one for you. What inappropriate moments have you found yourself getting the giggles when you really shouldn't have?
My grandma's funeral. So it was...
Don't bury the lead.
It was a Catholic funeral, which I'm not religious. So I'm Catholic. No. I'm
lapsed Catholic.
I'm just not religious. Like, my mom was raised Catholic and my dad is an atheist. So perfect fit. And so we just never went to church. It was like our decision if we wanted to go, but I wasn't going to go by myself. Like, my parents weren't going.
Yeah. On Sunday, Packers are on.
So exactly. So I was just never a thing. So I have never known how to behave. Like, I've only been to like one Catholic wedding, one Catholic funeral, and then my grandma's. So
it's like a Gordie Howe hat trick.
So it was a little fucked up how this transpired, but all the grandkids had to go. I don't know what the thing is where they give you the body of Christ and
Communion?
the blood of Christ. I don't know. They call you to the front and you all
Eucharist?
queue up. And I don't know what it's called. I still don't know. Anyhow, we go up and I was first in line, and I really didn't want to be first in line. But at this point, it's like we're kicking things off, like we're going. There was no like trying to skip to the back of the line to watch somebody else do it. So I took one of the chips or the crackers. I don't know what they are. I took the body of Christ, and then I walk over to the blood of Christ, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I like dipped it, which seemed normal to me. Apparently, that's fucked up. Because when I told my cousins after that, they lost it. And then I lost it. And then there's 4 like 20-year-old dudes in the front row.
See, this was an important. I was like, were you 9?
No, this was a couple of years ago.
I drove.
And there's
myself
just 4 of
there.
us just in the front, like you had to have been able to see us from behind. Just these guys like totally losing it. And yeah, that was it for me. I also ugly cried for like a half hour before that, so I think there was a lot of.
You were like an emotional vacuum.
Yeah. What about you? What is your inappropriate laughter moment?
Absolutely. During one of I think it was the snow we got here in like 2010 or 2009. The one where Greg Nichols had sold off the snowplow so they didn't reelect him. They were like, this was fucked. There was way too much snow. So I got to work at Ken's Market, a grocery store, and a guy was shopping for bananas, and he slipped with such force that his feet were immediately level with his head. His head had not moved. His head was suspended exactly where it was. His feet came up to meet his head, and he fell like 4 feet directly onto his back. And then he tried to play it off. Like, it's fine, guys. I'm cool. Like, no, that's like a ladder fall that, like, there's like 800 Americans that die from that.
Actor, actually.
And I tried to be like, are you okay? And was immediately started laughing. Just had to go outside and laugh for like 8 minutes until I was like, this is my break today, guys. I'm just going to laugh at the guy that shattered his tailbone and is acting like everything's cool. But
I don't think we had this question for today, but what is something that will always make you laugh no matter what?
Oh, probably the word crack pipe.
I wasn't expecting that.
See, that's why it's fun, because I don't live a lifestyle that exposes me to the word very often. And so I'm never prepared to hear it. And there's my mom also, she's got a limited amount of, insults that she'll say. So like, she'll say something like, what are you smoking, crack? And immediately that's hilarious because it's like a misordered pizza. Some sort of overreaction to like a very benign mistake. Were you smoking crack? Well, shit, I thought you wanted regular rye, not marble. I've never been here for Reuben night. What gets you every time? I mean, people falling is it's a total classic.
You making fun of your mom? No. People falling is a classic. Obviously, farting. A good fart, like a good one. I saw a video last night, sitting on the can, watching TikTok, and it's this video of this like lady singing in church.
With a lot of
the pews make it so much louder. It's the wood. It just like really amplifies like the echo. That's obvious. Farts are obvious. If you don't like farts, grow up. You know what I mean?
I do really quickly want to say I still love farts, but I have 2 dogs, and farts are becoming a little less humorous.
I like farts in theory. I don't like actually.
In practice, what I'm finding is a lot of silent but extremely deadly sort of matter. Actually, they're not even silent. This is what's starting to get me. Without butt cheeks, I was unaware that a dog could really let one rip like that. I heard one the other day from Rusty that sounded like he was holding a wet towel out of a jet window. And the thing is, the quiet ones are already going to like tear the paint off your walls. It's already a bit of a biohazard. When you get one with that sort of noise, like you have to leave the house. This is DEFCON 1.
God, the fart segment. Oh no. How red is my face right now? Is it super red? God damn.
Wow. I'm sorry. I mean, mildly. Don't worry. You're
farts, man. It gets me every time. Also, this one's meaner, but as a fat person, I feel like I can say it. When fat people sneeze, I don't know why seeing like a really fat person sneeze cracks me up because it's a whole body thing. It's not just bam, letting it fly. It is good stuff.
It's like Chris Farley. It's got a lot of chutzpah. There's a lot of joie de vivre.
All right, what is our next question?
Okay, give me one moment here. So, what things do you love doing that people would never guess about you? Or the weirdest thing about you that most people can't imagine?
What did your brother call me when I was over at your house? It's not a slur. It's
Oh,
not
God.
a slur. What did he say? I was like an audiophile or something?
Oh, I can't recall. That's escaping me. This is alcoholism in a nutshell.
It was very gin and chronic night, if you know what I mean. But I think he called me an audiophile, which I think is like somebody who likes a lot of different music, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
I like a lot of different music, which means like you'll catch me listening to metal, oldies, Elvis, like some random Frank Sinatra shit. But I'll also listen to like One Direction. And especially on long road trips where there's nobody around, there's nobody on the sidewalk to fucking judge me, and I can finally, baby, you light up my world like nobody else. I can just really let it fly, dude. Yeah, big time. So probably One Direction, Shawn Mendes. Type of music you wouldn't expect from a three-biller like myself.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mine is absolutely my love of Christmas. Because hate people, hate most holidays. Or hate is strong, but they don't do anything for me in particular. It's like an excuse to throw a party.
Yeah.
Christmas, though, got my Christmas village, got my ornaments, got my outside decorations.
When I found out you were like a Christmas village collector, honestly, it's the cutest thing I've ever learned about you. It's pretty great.
I've got to balance out the Scrooge type demeanor.
I like to think you sleep. Yeah, you sleep in one of those like old stocking caps at Christmas time. I don't know why. I don't know why in my head.
I can only illuminate my way to the bathroom with a candle on a plate. Do we want to do any more of these, Chris? We got
do the rest of the ones we had for today.
All right. I think we only have 2 more for today. So, if you were to wear any animal print, which would it be and why?
Okay, I was really drunk when I thought of this question, but I think it's a good question.
That's fair.
And I want you to answer it first.
I mean, I'm going cheetah by loudest as possible, and also the irony of me wearing something that indicates that sort of speed. that sort of get up and go.
Here's my problem with cheetah print is when I think of cheetah print, I think of a woman named Roxanne, cigarette in her mouth, big curlers in her hair. She's going out to meet your new daddy tonight.
Well, hope she has a great time at Golden Corral.
Trust me, I'm going to be turned on when she's dancing to Cherry Pie later, but she's my... Anyway.
In my experience in more modern times, it always ends up being Crazy Bitch by Buck Cherry that gets played. It comes on the, where's my mom?
Oh, you're calling the number at the bar because you know it by heart?
Yeah.
Tell my mom it's past bedtime. Come on.
It's 11:30.
I'm going to go with giraffe. I feel like it would make a really cool suit. And I feel like, I don't know.
We're talking print, right? You're not. No, we're taking down a giraffe.
Yeah, giraffe print. Because it's like, I don't know, it's cool looking, right? And everybody else is wearing stripes. I don't look good in stripes, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. People are like, well, are they vertical or horizontal? I barely look good in anything.
Too much surface area to have stripes. So, yeah, the more octagonal pattern of a giraffe.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I've got the last question for you, Chris. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you on vacation?
Well, it was my honeymoon, and
are we both going to tell poop stories?
Mine involves poop. It does. I shit the bed on my honeymoon, very literally. I got sick. I remember we went to Italy, and I remember the night before waking up in the middle of the night like, oh, I'm getting sick. And I was like, no, you just need to sleep really hard, and maybe you won't get sick. And then we went from Seattle to Detroit. You know this about me, but I'm about to share something. Do not shit in public restrooms. I shit at home or wherever I'm staying.
Right.
That is
as
it.
few witnesses as possible.
That's it. I don't want people to like hear me. I don't even, and now it drives me nuts. My wife knows that. So she comments every time. She's like, yeah, about 2 minutes in when you were, I'm like, You were listening way too closely. Anyway, so
You hanging out there?
I had thought I had gotten it all out in Detroit. Then I get on the plane, and unfortunately I had gotten it all out, but my body didn't know that because it was trying to get rid of more stuff.
The equivalent of a dry heave.
And so I'm just sweating and like coming and going from the bathroom, which on this particular plane was in the fucking exact middle of the airplane. So there's way more witnesses because I was coming all the way from the back where the bathroom fucking should have been. So I keep coming out, and the people are like death glaring at me like, dude, what the fuck are you doing in there? Like, you got to get this sorted out, whatever's going on with you. And I'm just sweating profusely. And it got to the point where, like, the stewardesses and steward, what do you call it?
Steward-eye.
Just flight attendants, I guess. Were, like, coming up to me with ice packs and stuff. And, like, everybody's giving me their, like, home remedies for feeling better. And it was just, it was not good. So we get to the airport in Rome. Now I'm just, like, feel like I'm dying, and now I'm trying to read Italian and like understand other people talking in Italian. And luckily Katie had everything sorted out. We got to the hotel. I was just shitting my brains out like crazy. Literally shit the bed that night. And then the next day we were supposed to go to Pompeii. I was too sick for that. So we missed Pompeii, which really bummed me out because I wanted to see the guys who got frozen over while they were fucking jerking it. But so we missed that, and then the day after that I was still sick, and we were supposed to go see the Vatican and the Colosseum, and like the Colosseum was the only thing I really wanted to see that trip other than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I was like, I have to see the Colosseum. If I see nothing else this trip, I have to see the Colosseum. And
this is your flu game.
So yeah. So we go on this tour, which you're supposed to go from the Vatican, you have lunch, then you go to the Colosseum. We go to the Vatican. I almost die at the Vatican. I can't think of anything fucking worse. It was like 120 degrees. I'm super dehydrated because I shit anytime I put anything in my body. And I was literally like walking out of the Vatican. I thought I was going to die. Like I nearly passed out until like I went and sat in the shade, and I might have fallen asleep. I still don't know. But Katie catches up with me because I was like, I gotta go. Like, I don't give a fuck about the Sistine Chapel. It's not that impressive. And so then we go to lunch, and I know I shouldn't eat lunch because my body can't contain anything at this point. It's all coming out rapid fire, like right away. I have to say, ravioli's pretty enticing. And so I went for it. I had the ravioli. And we start talking to these people who are from New Zealand, and I start making jokes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could tell you guys were either New Zealand or Australian, but I knew you weren't so arrogant and you were Australian. Guess where the next people were from? Australia. And so I default to just talking about how rough of a trip I'm having, not even thinking about the fact I'm talking about shitting myself while everybody's trying to eat. And then guess what? I almost shit myself. So we have to jump off the tour and missed the leg to the Colosseum. And anyway, we wound up going later at night when it was pouring rain. It was actually pretty cool. But yeah, almost dying at the Vatican. Worst thing that's ever happened to me. Ugh.
Mine is fairly short in nature. It was we decided to do a cruise. It'll be the only cruise we ever do. But this one had hit some particularly choppy waves. I've never been seasick in my life, but I also haven't slept on a gigantic fucking hotel in the middle of the goddamn ocean for 3 days. So I got sick, and I could feel it coming. And I'm sitting in a stand-up show on a cruise boat, which has to be one of the bleaker scenarios you could realistically be in. Talk about a fucking captive audience. I truly cannot leave in a deeper sense of the word. But yeah, I was running to try to find a garbage can, but even though it feels like a mall, it's not a mall. So as I'm running, I vomit and slip in it. Just like the motherfucker at Ken's Market. Totally horizontal. I'm just looking for like a version of me from the future that's laughing at me like you should have known. But yeah, that was absolutely number one, because slipping in your own vomit as you're vomiting is hard to reproduce. Even if I were to try to do it again, I don't know if I'd hit it with the same enthusiasm. All right. We done with Tinderella for
I
today?
think we're done with Tinderella. What's our next segment?
So you wanted to talk about a dream of yours to be
We got fucking Hot Jake over here on the ones and twos. Everybody, wherever you are, give it up for him. Just crank one out real quick. Hot Jake over here. I'm not letting him get in my way today. Last week I was nervous because I don't trust hot people, and I was not myself, and I don't care how perfectly his hair is coiffed while still coming out of a hat.
Was this what we wrote on the agenda?
Yeah. The Hot Jake rant. You didn't see. Anyhow, he is wearing a hat and has hair, which is two things that I wish I could do. I can't wear hats. I can't fucking wear hats. My head is too big. Anytime, like if I go into Champs and I see a hat that I like, no chance. It's never there. I'll go up to him and I'll be like, hey, do you have like...
You are one of those people that has a hat size similar to a shoe size.
I have a size 8, and here's the thing about size 8. It's as big as it goes, for starters. And if you ask for a size 8, they're like, let me go check in the back. And then everything they bring out is like something that is like meant to go over somebody's dreadlocks. Like it's not meant to go all the way around your head. So it's got a cartoonishly like tall...
Oh, you've
like,
got a little bit
dome
more
portion of it. So like...
And you don't have that sort of volume.
No, my head's very much a ball. It's not very ovally. So it's like not only once I finally get a hat that actually fits around like the circumference of my head, I've got like 3-4 inches. I could hide anything in here. If you're trying to get weed into a concert. But yeah, I wish I could wear a hat. I was at the Bucks game on Monday in Portland, and that's what made me think of this, because everybody had their cool like Bucks championships hats. I've never seen so many Bucks fans in my life. I think outside of like being at a Bucks game in Milwaukee, I think I've met 20 in my whole life. There was more than that staying at our
18
hotel.
of them were at the Portland game.
Yeah, dude. At this last game, there was probably 20% of the crowd. It was nuts. And I ran into Giannis's wife. I was coming out of the pisser, and she was just there. And then like Katie and Noah and Paige, my brother and soon-to-be sister-in-law, were standing there waiting for me. I was like, oh, that's Giannis's wife. And they're like, no. I was like, yeah, that's Giannis's wife. And they're just like,
It's when you're a real Bucks super fan.
Yeah,
that's when you're
like,
identifying spouses and children.
Yeah, they're like, you're being weird. I was like, no, Mariah, nice sweatshirt. And she turned around and smiled, and they're like, oh my God, we got to go get a picture. And I was like, no, she's really private. We should probably not. But she had two little freaking Antetokounmpos with her, dude.
The ones that I saw helping him out play with his free
yeah,
throws.
She had both the little chillins with her, dude. And I don't know, they look like they're like, they probably look like they were both 4. I think they're under 2, but they definitely take after dad. I asked Katie if she would trade Kendall for the two of them. One Kendall for 2 Antetokounmpos.
What about a Kendall and a player to be named later?
I'm
cash considerations.
Cash considerations. There we go. I mean, we know Kendall would be well taken care of, and then we have 2 Antetokounmpos. Are you kidding me? NBA kids? Yes. That'd be rad.
I'm sure Giannis is up for it.
I'm sure.
Tell me you're a super fan.
I don't know. I really think this is how Giannis and I become best friends, is what I was thinking. But,
well, you got to start with the podcast.
But I was also thinking beer hats. I don't know. Did those ever exist? Like the hats? It's like a hat. It's like a baseball.
I mean, they exist in the same way that like the hat with the little propeller does. Like
so now,
in cartoons.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Because like you never see somebody wearing those. What I would really want to see is that person after wearing it, because you know that person is fucking sloshed. Also, if you're paying for that much beer at a game now, that's like a $50 fucking hat.
Oh yeah, no, that's a person that's sneaking in liquor in their pockets.
If you're wearing it, is it sneaking in beer? You should be able to bring it in if you're wearing it.
That's a little bit under the radar. That's like when you're looking for the remote and it's in your pocket. Like you wear the beer on your head and you're like, the security guy will never think that I'm this brazen. I went to a UFC event with my dad once, and yeah, he pulled 2/5 of Crown Royal out of his socks.
2/5 of Crown Royal.
Kid's got to get home somehow.
Out of his socks.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, that guy's calves are crazy.
No, that's more of an indictment.
How did they get so square?
He's one of those people that just you turn around and his shirt's off.
That reminded me, being at the Bucks game, I'm not quiet at sporting events. You know that about me. We had to put Kendall in headphones because, I mean, she's a little kid and you don't want her fucking ears to explode. And so we had the little headphone things on her, but I started to realize pretty quickly it was more so protecting her from me yelling than anybody else.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of the time that we were at the Packer game, and the Packers, what year was this? 2017?
It's important to set the stage also. This was my first time at Lambeau. This was a bucket list gift from my fiance. Did not go great.
Yeah, so there's one point we're playing the fucking Cardinals, like Josh Rosen.
The Josh Rosen Cardinals.
And not to spoil
we
it.
chose it as a, that should be a W.
That's exactly why we chose it.
We chose that one over the Falcons coming to town.
Yeah, December at Lambeau, easy win. And it's like 3rd and 17 or something in the first quarter.
It was 3rd and 9, but equally nightmarish.
In my head, it had to be more than 3rd. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was pissed that we ran a fucking draw play on 3rd and whatever goddamn length it was. Like, clearly never going to work. And I stood up and said, "McCarthy, you're done." And he got fired after the game.
He got fired before we got back to the hotel in Grafton. I've never seen a person vindicated so quickly on what is a somewhat bold prediction. Like, it's a coach that the Packers had for, 8 years at that point?
Yeah.
Or no, it was closer to 12,
well,
right?
Well, he won a Super Bowl, too.
Yes, I mean, there's that as well. But just the sheer amount of time for you to call it in the first quarter on a 3rd and 9 draw play. Yeah, it was prescient. I was impressed. I mean, I had a great time at Lambeau. Don't get me wrong, but...
Well, beer cures all, man. Beer and sausage. Although, do you remember how that trip started? Not that trip, actually. I kept thinking, Wisconsin is a complicated place.
Oh, yeah.
And we got, as soon as we pulled in to the parking lot in Green Bay, I'm just thinking, I want to make this like as good of an experience as possible for you guys. And we get out and we're waiting to pee at these porta potties in this parking lot. And this fucking hammered guy comes up talking about Jeff Janis and drops the N-word within a minute of talking to us. And
welcome to Wisconsin.
Exactly. I was just like, fuck, you really fucked us up. And of course you're talking about Jeff Janis, like as if the N-word wasn't bad enough. You're going off about the one garbage white receiver we have? Okay.
Yeah, come on.
Wonder what team you're on.
There was Jordy Nelson here at one point, for Christ's sake.
Exactly.
You're going to be racist. There's no way for me to transition into this next one, but I've just got to go there. We're going to do a recurring segment on this show that are stories about my dad. These are Mike's stories.
What made you think of that, the N-word?
It's I've been legally advised. No, so my dad for many, many years grew weed in the basement in Ballard. And at one point we had a spider mite problem. So there's a few ways you can deal with that. You can buy a shitload of neem oil. You could like bug bomb your basement, make the weed taste like shit. My dad had read that ladybugs will take care of this issue. So he bought a box of 3,000 ladybugs off the internet for like $30 plus shipping.
I was going to say, what's the going price for
$2.20s?
$2.20.
About a large pizza. What he failed to take into account, though, is that the 1,000-watt high-pressure sodium lights are like fingerprint removingly hot. So he unleashes these ladybugs into the room, and immediately they start Icarus right into the sun, flying too close to these lamps, man. And my dad, despite all of his degeneracy, is pretty upset about what's happening. You know, he didn't want to kill the ladybugs. So he's watching as this unfolds, this thing he cannot stop. And within 15 minutes, there's like 3,000 dead ladybugs on the ground. And my dad, without his shirt on and cut off sweat shorts, using a folded up Heineken box as a makeshift dustpan, just sort of sadly sweeping up his little mass grave that he's created. There's better ways to get rid of white flies, is my point. So that's the first Mike story that I've got
Is
for
this the
show.
first time we get PETA on our ass? Do they cover bugs or?
I mean, does it count if he was sorry? He was really, he felt real bad, like capital B bad about it.
Does it count if he was sorry? How long was he sorry for?
At least until he had scraped the last one onto that Heineken box dustpan. Could have been his back getting to him, but you know.
Oh.
Okay. We also have another recurring segment. Unless, were there questions about that?
No. It just gets me every time. It's like the third or fourth time I've heard that story, and it's funny every time.
Yeah, it's especially knowing how laissez-faire and non-caring he is about everything, but to see him genuinely upset for once about something, you fucked me up pretty bad, Dad. Where's my swan song?
I didn't have dinner yesterday, you piece of shit. Good, you can eat the ladybugs.
But we wanted to do another Gucci or Greasy, right?
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I know this one too. It just makes me mad. It's greasy. There's not even a debate.
Yeah, I don't
here.
even know if this was the proper segment for this question.
It's not. I can't collect myself, say it.
Oh, well, I mean, is it Gucci or Greasy to leave volumes or other numbers, but it's mostly volumes on a prime number?
It's greasy. Not even prime, just odd. It's fucked up. Don't do the only odd
What about
number,
intervals of 5?
Fives
See?
are fine. That's the
All
human number. It makes sense. There's 5 fingers. It's fine. 5 is fine. It just makes sense too. 5, 15, 25.
Right.
It's all fine. You leave the fucking TV volume on 11, I'm going to punch you in the fucking head.
Yeah.
I swear to
31.
God, I had a date I was dating this girl briefly.
I wonder why.
When I was in high school, and we were watching TV with her parents, and her dad put the TV volume on 13, and I couldn't not say something. I couldn't. I was like, could you just turn it up one more?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you want a little louder? He turned it up 4 more, which was fine. I don't have a problem with the number 4, but the problem was that left it on 17.
Yeah, he's jumping from prime number to prime number.
Yeah.
What is he going to go to 19 next?
I was like,
you motherfucker.
Could you turn it just up or down? One more. Just one more. And he was like, really not getting it. This was like a 5-minute, I'm going to call it an ordeal. Which ended with him leaving the room. He just thought I was fucking with him. And I didn't have the heart to be like, put it on an even number. Yeah. I don't understand why the odd numbers are even an option.
I like the idea of him being like, are you doing a bit? And you being like, are you doing a fucking bit?
Yeah, you're fucking with me, dude.
19?
Why 3? Why does 3 exist? Just everybody should have a pair. Each one everybody should have.
Chris Moran will be the first person to develop a TV that goes up in intervals of 2 on the volume.
I've seen it before.
It's like a 13th floor elevator.
Oh, no. Actually, you know what? It was my car volume. I had like no, Chevy would never be smart enough to do that. Maybe it was my Hyundai. And it went up by 2, and I was like, it went up to 60, which is really 30 if you go by, everybody else is dumb counting. But this was intervals of 2. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Oh, man.
If anybody knows what that's called, hating, there has to be a word for it.
Fear of prime numbers or
not even prime. You're really focused on prime here.
Yeah, I absolutely am.
Odd numbers.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's, it's
what though? Double
it's
numbers.
Like second-degree murder versus first-degree murder.
Double numbers don't bother me as much. But mostly that's with like athletes. Like when I see like a first baseman wearing 33, I'm like, that's pretty sick.
Because a double number, I mean, except for 11's bitch.
Well, if you put it together, 3 and 3, that equals 6. I'm constantly doing mental gymnastics like that to get my head around number. Like if I can't change it, I'm always like 19. Okay, 9 plus 1, that's 10. We're fine. But I can't do it with the TV volume. If I know somebody can just change it, I ask. My parents still don't know that about me. Whenever I go over there, they're always like leaving it on like 47 or something. I'm like, oh my God.
My therapist says it's very important to, be transparent about these things. Hey, you're fucking with my brain here. Change it to 18 or 16. Whatever it is. I don't. We're actually we're doing good on time here. I think we're down to the last couple of categories that we wanted to discuss.
Okay.
So the first one is just what I've read on Wikipedia the last 2 days.
Yes, Cole, I would like for you to share with the class what your Wikipedia search history is.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about this. This is actually only 2 days. So yeah, let me actually, it's not on my phone, it's on this here. So just jump in as you'd like. I'm just going to read through it. Chicken or the egg, philosophical question. Ego death.
What is that?
Oh, you eat some acid and all your high and mighty views about yourself come crumbling down. It's
what?
I don't know why I was looking it up.
Yeah, what? What? Yeah. For starters, why did you even know that existed? What made you look it up? I still don't completely understand what it is.
I don't have the Timothy Leary explanation in front of me. But yeah, why I was looking it up, I don't know. It could have been,
Am I suffering from ego death?
No, I'm still a complete asshole. Next one, Judge Seamus McCaffrey. So this was the judge that used to run Eagles Jail in Veterans Stadium. So old Veterans Stadium, for those who are unaware,
where the Philadelphia Eagles play.
Yeah, played. So they don't have this anymore.
Yes, correct.
They were the only professional sporting venue in the country that had a courthouse in the basement in which you could be charged.
It was a full jail, right? They
had
an actual
had
jail.
A jail, had a courthouse, had the whole thing. And ultimately...
Can you imagine being on the 50-yard line and hearing a mallet strike beneath you? Sit!
Yeah. And this was apparently the only judge that ran the place. So what a gig. And then some of this shit is boring. The British Guiana 1-cent magenta stamp.
Why?
It's the most expensive thing pound for pound that's ever existed. Because it's like a $9 million stamp.
Okay, what's next?
That's all I got. The Ayacucho Massacre. Don't even remember what that was. Veep, that's a good show. Compromise of 1877. That's the one where the president got decided. This is in order, too, so I'm actually kind of perplexed how I jumped from one to the next.
I'm baffled. Just keep going.
Mandy, the movie with Nicolas Cage. Larry Bird.
All these things, I have no fucking clue what they are, and then Larry Bird.
And then CRISPR gene editing. But this gets us to the one thing we wanted to talk about related to my Wikipedia searches, which is King Farouk. That was the other thing I didn't mention yet.
Yes, why don't you teach us about King Farouk?
Yeah, King Farouk. He was a king. And
weird, it's lucky he got that name.
It's like title. Prince Fielder, Like, how did we know he was royalty?
He's not a real prince. I'm calling bullshit.
Ultimately, King Farouk of Egypt, he gets ousted. The people are mad about his...
When was this?
Eccentricities, 1952. And...
anyway, I was just about to ask, they still had kings in Egypt, but there's still kings in fucking Europe, so I...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Luxembourg.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it's still a grand duchy. But... when he was overthrown, he went to live in exile and he had to leave all of his shit behind, which included a vast collection of pornographic neckties and other
pornographic
neckties. Back then, you had to get what you could get. This is like pre-Hugh Hefner, 52.
Pause. For starters, all the questions. back to Kyle Kinane. Why... I don't understand a lot of things happening here. Who started producing these neckties?
I have never dug further. There's not record of it necessarily.
And why a necktie? Because you can't even enjoy that yourself. Other people are looking at you wear it.
That's a good question. Maybe it's a more discreet thing to hide, but
how hide? You're wearing it. How are you? Maybe the figures are upside down and he holds it up and cranks. I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean,
and this was also 52, you said? They didn't even get blowjobs were people didn't even know what that was.
Hadn't been invented yet.
Yeah. I'm sure it'd been done, but invented.
Sliced bread was invented first. Yeah.
People weren't even doing that. So that means if he had thousands of neckties, pornographic neckties, he had to have some repeat positions. At that point, you're just changing the background. So this is more about the color of the tie.
That's an orange nipple, and this is a blue one.
Oh.
Variety is the spice of life, though.
Pornographic necktie. What do you even get out of that? Why so many? That's what I don't get. Thousands. One or two.
You got the coin, you know. It's like a
Didn't
status
they have magazines then? Jerk it to a magazine.
No, this is pre-you. Like I said, this is, you know, you got to get what you can get.
This is kind of like anime. To me, like, I don't understand. I'm not kink shaming. If you like cranking it to cartoons, go crazy. I've never sat there watching SpongeBob like, oh my God, look at all those holes.
Well,
but whatever.
They don't show Patrick's tits enough.
I don't know. How could they show them more? I don't get it myself. You're like getting off to drawings. So that's the same thing with the neckties for me, I guess. Like, I would rather look at an actual photo of a woman scantily clad and not naked than a drawing of naked, personally.
But
if I've got to crank it to one of the two, I'm going for actual. Are we into uncomfortable territory?
No, not
now?
at all. No, since you're talking about cranking it, I think I can transition neatly into our last topic here.
Perfect.
So we've got our This Week in History, and we'll end on this one. I don't think I'm going to go through all 5, but I'm going to go through a couple of these. On February 5th, the year 62 AD, you brought it up earlier, the earthquake and subsequent volcano in Pompeii occurred.
Mm.
When they find your corpse, what position are you most likely to be frozen in?
Just as I alluded to earlier, cranking it, buddy. That's definitely...
Cranking it or cracking a beer. Your
yeah,
arms are at crotch level.
Maybe. Arms are at crotch level. No matter what. Yeah, definitely one of the two. You know what? I was so excited for today. Fucking cranked it 3 times, boys, before I got here. I was in a really good mood. Yeah.
The first one came out like a wax dart, and the third one, it's just like water. It's just like a garden hose.
Just dust.
February 10th, 1996, Gary Kasparov loses a game of chess to a computer and cries foul like an asshole for a long time. Have you ever destroyed an electronic device in a fit of rage?
Have I? Yeah. I mean, do controllers count?
It's
because controllers. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Like I was up by 42 in Madden, lost. Yeah. Fuck Mike Vick and fuck this controller. No.
Valid.
Yeah. Big time. The actual like system. No, but there's been a lot. I've broken a lot of things, especially when I was like, I had a temper from up until I was like 18. And then I kind of mellowed out, but mellowed. Did I say meddled?
You said meddled out, which is pretty cool.
I started aluminum. I started listening to metal around then. Actually, maybe that helped me process my emotions better.
Yeah, make it better than Third Eye Blind.
Yeah, I definitely broke stuff because of video games. A lot. Always sports video games. Never like Mario Kart. I was always good enough. It was like worst thing that ever happens to me as I'm getting third.
Yeah.
And I can live with placing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Madden losses. It was always Madden. Or 2K actually. Yeah. You fucking J.R.
We don't have
Smith.
To talk about it anymore.
Fucking J.R. Smith, dude. Are you kidding me? Really, J.R. Smith? No. No. What about you?
Yes, not over sports video games. So I had one of these clocks. It's very stupid. Tells you like
the time.
It is 5 minutes to 9. No, it tells you in font, in text. It is 5 minutes to 9. Yeah, and I propped it up on a tower speaker I had, and at some point it fell off the back and fell through the back of the tower speaker. So a $25 clock had broke like a $250 speaker.
Oh, damn it.
And the clock couldn't survive. And I got some good whiplash on it. You know, you grab the cord and, you know, like a flail. That's
And then you beat it in chess.
I can't even be funny about this. I'm still fucking pissed. Still outraged. Can we go to, you want to close this? I'm just mad now.
I would just like to thank both of the medical professionals listening on our behalf, as well as anybody else who may be. Hot Jake over here on the ones and twos, the fucking hair, and yeah, thanks for listening. And
Yeah.
if I make it long enough, we'll have a third episode.
72 hours, babe. We'll be back here.
Everybody have a great day.